not only tasting, but you're going to learn to appreciate the rum. So you're going to evaluate it using your eyes, nose, and mouth. Now the first rum on the line is the Appleton Estate Signature Blend. And this one is a combination of different styles and ages of rums. You won't see a number on the bottle to tell you that that's the youngest rum in the blend, but it contains 15 select aged rums and it has an average of 4 years. So that first glass to your left, you're going to remove the cap and lift the glass to the light. So what we're doing is looking at the color. So what you should see is a harvest gold color. Are you seeing that? Now go ahead and nose the rum. And tell me, what are you smelling?
Rum. Right.
Strong. But I can accept that. I know you're strong.
A little bit of sugarcane, a slight bit of molasses, some alcohol.
Apples and pears.
Alright, so it does have the molasses. Yeah.
I smell the sugar cane.
Citrus, fruity notes. Now go ahead and taste. If I say nobody said. So is it sharp on the palate?
Yes, yes,
And is it harsh going down?
yes.
No, the reason for this is because it's a mixing rum. You have to add different things to it. So the first drink that you got at the bar, which was the Stormy Valley, that's a combination of signature with ginger beer. You can also add Coca-Cola, cranberry juice, coconut water. So whatever you want to add to that one, add it. Mixing rum. Now the water is yours. Go ahead and cleanse your palate. Now different styles and ages. No number on the bottle, but it contains 20 select aged rums and it has an average of 6 years. So lift the glass that is in the middle to the light. So I was hearing something earlier. It is darker, and that is true. And that's because it sat in the barrel for much longer. Now go ahead and nose the rum. Is it much more subtle than the first? Now go ahead and taste. Now for this one, it has a subtle vanilla with a hint of hazelnut and an oaky, honey, aroma and flavor profile.
Sharper.
Getting that? Now for that one, you have two options. You can either mix it or have it neat. Now when I say mix it, well, when I say neat, I mean that you add no ice to it, you drink it as it is. And if you're going to mix it, have it like how the master blender likes it. Now her favorite drink for the reserve is the Epic, and that's a combination of reserve with coconut water, right? So you have the option right there. So neat, mix it. Now for the last one on the line, this is our rare 12-year-old. For this one, we're going to do things a little different. Now you'll notice that the number is on the bottle, and that will tell you that that's the youngest rum in the blend. So in Jamaica, we practice what is known as minimum aging, always displaying the youngest rum on the bottle. So minimum 12 and it goes up to 18 years. So go ahead and lift that last one to the light. So it's a little bit darker than the second one. Now go ahead and tilt it to the side, and where the rum meets the glass, you should see an olive green ring. Are you seeing that? So that is the ring of aging. So that is how you can tell when you have an aged rum. Now return it to the original position, and you should see legs running down the sides of the glass. So these legs, they run down very slow because it's a full-bodied rum. So they look like tears. Right? Oh, tears.
Interesting.
Alright, so they are legs. Right? So the kick of the legs and the slow they run down is the age it will be, and it's going to be a full body. So it looks like oil running down the side. Alright, now you're going to nose the rum. But before you nose, inhale, exhale.
clear out, you know.
Now, nose the rum. Remove it from your nose, swirl, inhale again, exhale.
Sorry.
Nose again. Now, what we just did was open up the rum so you can smell different aromas inside. Now you're gonna go ahead and taste. Right?
How do you get the different flavors with the skin?
Alright, so from the barrels.
Oh.
So the barrel
Longer. But how?
Alright. Yeah, you are getting at it. The longer it stays is the more flavors it will extract from the barrels. So where this one will have 21 US, the 21 150 US, and for the Joy Anniversary 350 US. Right, so those are the prices. For this 50 in 9 barrels. Now in 2062, we're gonna have a minimum age rum of 50 years. It rums up to 100 years. But this 50-year-old, it currently sells at 5,000 US a bottle and 500 US a shot. So if this one is so expensive, you can just imagine the Prime Minister's Reserve Jamaica rum that has not been created as yet. It's going to be smoother, sweeter, darker, and very, very, very expensive. Yes. So this is our rum. No, I told you about fermentation. We went inside the distillery. Now we're inside the aging warehouse. Now after we bottle the rum and we ship it to you, what will you do with it?
Drink it.
Exactly. And that will be our next stop in the cake to cup process. We're going to 8% alcohol. Now that is weak. That is like a beer. And we don't want any beer here. We want rum. So what we'll do, put it in the wash reservoir behind you, and when we're ready to use it, we'll pump it around to the distillery. So after we ferment, we will distill. And distillation is basically stripping or separating that 7 to 8% from that dead wash. We have 2 methods, a pot still distillation and a column still distillation. For the pot still, we have been using that since 1749. During that process, that 7 to 8% will move to 86%. Now, how is that possible? What we will do on the first pot, heat will be applied and the liquid inside will become vaporized. Now, what you'll have coming out first is alcohol vapor. And the reason for this is because alcohol and water, they boil at different temperatures. So you're going to have 30% alcohol coming off. It will pass through what is known as a swan neck and enter the second pot. Liquid is inside, the vapors will bubble through that liquid, become enriched and leave at 60%. The process will repeat. Enters the third pot. Liquid inside, vapors bubble through, become enriched and leave at 86%. It will then enter a condenser, which will condense those vapors back to liquid. Now the alcohol that we get off, crystal clear, colorless, but it is more flavorful and more aromatic. For the second method, which is the column still, it looks just like the condenser. During that process, that 7 to 8% will move to 96%. Now what we will do, add that dead wash at the bottom of the column. Heat will be applied. The lighter the alcohol, the higher it goes. The higher it gets, the stronger it will become. And because of the height of the column, we get it off at that 96%. Now the rums that come off, crystal clear, colorless, but it is less flavorful and less aromatic. Now in Jamaica, the rums that we get off the column, we call them the Kulu Kulu rums, or Jankrabati. Yes. But abroad, you might know it as moonshine, everclear, street. So that is what we get off the column. So you know that you're not supposed to drink that one, right? Everybody's supposed to say, no, we're not supposed to. No. Exactly. This is our secret right here. I know, directly in front of you, we have the pot here. So it's a bigger version of what we saw on the outside. Now for this one, it is made up of 100% copper and it gives an orange note, which is the hallmark of the Appleton brand. It is also a batch in total. For this one, it is the third smallest and it holds 50,000 barrels. The largest has over 40,000, and the 17 combined has over 250,000 barrels. Now we age our rums in 40-gallon American white oak because they're of the highest grade. What we'll also do is pour 80% alcohol inside because that's the ideal strength for aging in the tropics. But when we do this, we have to leave space at the top because the rums need space to breathe. But what will happen is the rums will start evaporating, and that evaporation, we call that the angel share. So the angel takes their share. And in Jamaica, we call that the dumpy share. Now, what is left inside, we call that the devil's pot. And that's what you have been drinking along the tour. Now, rums don't only evaporate, but they get smoother, sweeter, darker, and more expensive. But when they do evaporate, it's according to the climate of a country. So in Jamaica, because it is warm, we lose our rums at 6%. But in a country like Scotland, because it is cold, they lose it at 2%. But that is more beneficial to us because our rums will mature much faster. So for example, a 21-year-old will take us 21 years just to get that rum profile. But a country like Scotland, it will take them 63 years just to get that 21-year-old profile. So it's a 1-to-3 ratio. 1 year for us, 3 years for them. Now if you look at our barrels, you'll see hearts. If you see our Appleton bottles, you'll see a heart. The map in the welcome center had a heart. Now what that represents is the love, the passion, and the pride we have in making our rums. Because the Appleton Estate rums, they're crafted in the hearts of Jamaicans. So that is what it means. Now do you have any questions